The 19th of December, 1944. Snow blew sideways across the vast prisoner transport yard as a convoy of American military trucks rumbled toward the temporary processing station. Inside one of the trucks sat a group of exhausted, wounded, and disabled German POWs, missing limbs, some with bandaged eyes, some unable to stand without assistance. Many had been pulled directly from makeshift German field hospitals where medical supplies had long run out. Among them was Corporal Friedrich Keller, a 28-year-old artillery loader, whose left leg had been blown apart during a chaotic retreat near the Hurtgen forest. The stump beneath his uniform still ached with every vibration of the truck. Yet what filled him with far more dread than pain was uncertainty. For years, propaganda had filled his mind with images of American cruelties, of torture, starvation, humiliation. Now, injured, defenseless, and dependent, Friedrich was certain the worst awaited him. The truck halted. American MPs assisted the POWs down carefully, one by one. Friedrich expected to be shoved or shouted at, but instead, a medic approached him with genuine concern in his voice. "Easy, buddy. We've got you." The calm tone stunned him. He was gently placed on a stretcher and guided into a heated tent. Inside, he froze, eyes widening. Rows of clean white beds, real blankets, stainless steel medical trays stocked with fresh bandages, antiseptic bottles, morphine vials. By comparison, the German hospital he had left behind had been nothing but cold floors, dirty rags, and hopeless doctors whispering prayers. An American nurse knelt beside him. "We're going to get you cleaned up. You're safe now. Safe." The word struck him harder than any artillery shell. Safe in enemy hands. He wanted to speak, to protest, to insist he did not need kindness from Americans. But he was shaking too badly to form words. His entire worldview, built on years of propaganda, was cracking. Nearby, another disabled private, Lucas Hartmann, stared in disbelief as an American orderly carried in a tray of food, real broth, soft bread, and even a small piece of chocolate. Lucas blinked rapidly, unable to understand. "Four for us," he whispered. The orderly nodded. "Eat while it's hot." Lucas bowed his head and began crying silently. For months, he had eaten nothing but thin turnip soup, sometimes once a day. To receive warm, nourishing food from the enemy felt surreal. Friedrich watched this scene unfold and felt something tightening in his own throat. But the real shock came when an American doctor examined his stump. "We're going to clean this properly," the doctor said gently. "You won't lose more of the leg. We'll take care of you." Friedrich felt tears rising, unbidden. He clenched his jaw, fighting them. But when the doctor placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder, simple, compassionate gesture, Friedrich broke. Tears streamed down his face as every lie he had been told about American brutality unraveled. These men did not hate him. They did not treat him like an animal. They treated him like a human being. Elsewhere in the tent, a blind German lieutenant named Otto Remmer sat trembling as American nurses rewrapped his damaged eyes with fresh gauze. He whispered shakily, Why are you helping us?" The nurse responded softly, "Because that's what we do. War ends for you now." Otto covered his face and sobbed openly. He had prepared himself for execution. Instead, he received care more advanced than anything he had seen in years. But the moment that shook the entire group came later that evening. A generator-powered stove warmed the tent. The American staff set up a small radio and allowed the PO to listen to Christmas music. Disabled, broken, defeated German men who expected punishment and torment found themselves listening to soft melodies while wrapped in warm blankets. With full stomachs and medical attention, Friedrich felt as though the world had flipped upside down. He whispered to Lucas, "If this is how they treat prisoners, how can we possibly believe what we were told?" Lucas nodded through tears. "They treat us better than our own army did." The truth was undeniable, and for the first time since the war began, Friedrich felt something he thought impossible. relief. The morning after their arrival, the disabled German POWs awoke to something they had not experienced in months. Quiet. No artillery in the distance. No orders screamed by desperate sergeants. No aircraft engines overhead. Only the soft hum of a generator and the muffled clatter of an American cook preparing breakfast. Outside the medical tent, for Friedrich Keller, the silence felt unreal. He opened his eyes slowly, half expecting the warm bed and blankets to vanish like a dream. But the nurse who had helped him the previous evening was already checking his temperature, offering him a tired but genuine smile. "How's the leg today, Friedrich?" she asked, pronouncing his name carefully. He blinked, stunned. She remembered it. In the German army, wounded men were numbers. Here, the enemy remembered names. Lucas Hartmann lay on the bed next to him, sipping hot tea. He turned his head and whispered, "I haven't felt this warm since before the winter began." His voice cracked slightly at the admission. Friedrich nodded. The absurd contrast between what he had endured and what he was experiencing now continued to overwhelm him. In his mind, the war was still raging somewhere else. But inside this tent, time had paused. He felt for the first time that he could breathe. Soon, an American sergeant entered with a clipboard, calling out names gently. Friedrich stiffened, expecting interrogation or punishment. Instead, the sergeant announced, "We're moving some of you to the long-term medical ward, where you'll get better beds. Nobody is being questioned today. Only medical evaluations." The POS exchanged confused glances. Still, they followed instructions, slowly, painfully, but without fear. Outside the tent, Friedrich was shocked by the scale of the American camp. Trucks rolled in and out non-stop, carrying crates of medical supplies, fuel, blankets, canned goods, and equipment. Dozens of tents stood neatly arranged, with pathways cleared of snow. The efficiency reminded him of Germany before the shortages, before the chaos. But the sheer volume of American supplies was something Germany could never match. He whispered softly, "How do they have so much?" Lucas, who stood beside him on crutches, replied, "Maybe we were never told the truth." Inside the long-term care ward, the POs were greeted with clean sheets, heated stoves, and even small wooden lockers beside each bed. A friendly American orderly placed Friedrich's few belongings into one of the lockers. "You'll be here for a while," he said. "We want you to heal properly." Friedrich didn't know how to respond. The idea that an enemy soldier wanted him to heal rather than rot felt impossible. Later that afternoon, a group of American doctors conducted rounds. Their professionalism shocked the Germans. Instead of barking commands or dismissing them as inferior, the doctors treated them with patience and respect. They explained procedures slowly and clearly, even though many POOs barely understood English. One doctor crouched near Otto Remmer, the blind lieutenant, and asked softly, "Any pain today? We're going to try a new treatment for your eyes. It might help." Who had prepared himself for uselessness began crying again. He muttered, "Why do you care about my eyes?" "The war. I fought against you." The doctor didn't hesitate. "You're a patient now, that's all." Later that day, the POS received something that nearly broke them. Again, not German letters. American Red Cross packets containing blank paper, envelopes, and pencils. They were told they could write home. "We'll mail them for you," an American clerk explained. No censorship, except for military details. The POS stared at the stationery like it was gold. Friedrich held a pencil trembling in his hand. He had not written to his mother in 5 months. His last letter had been sent through a collapsing German field post system. The knowledge that this enemy camp offered him a better chance of contacting home than his own army stunned him. Still processing this, Friedrich wrote slowly, painfully, "Mother, I am alive. I am being treated better than I can understand. Do not fear for me." As he wrote, tears stained the paper. Lucas, sitting nearby, wrote to his younger sister and paused halfway, asking the guard timidly, "Will they really send this?" The guard nodded. Of course. Lucas's lip quivered. He whispered, "I don't deserve this kindness." Before evening, the POS witnessed another scene that shattered yet another layer of propaganda. 2 American soldiers entered with a wheelchair. In it sat a young U.S. private, with one arm in a sling and burns across his neck. The German prisoners stiffened, expecting hostility, but the private simply smiled gently and said, "Thought you guys might want company. Long days in the hospital. I know." The wounded American soldier shared stories of his own injuries. "His fear, his exhaustion, pain is pain," he said. "Doesn't matter what uniform you wore." The POW stared at him in disbelief. An American soldier, injured by Germans, sat here willingly, talking to them like equals. That night, as the lights dimmed, the POW ward was silent again. But this silence was not born from fear. It was filled with reflection, confusion, and dawning realization. Everything the Germans had been taught about American cruelty was fading. And with that fading came something far more frightening. The truth